Welcome to the CSU Signal Round Up. Spring 2021 has been quite the semester for the CSU Signal staff, and we've been working hard to provide you with the important news. I'm Rob Van Tynen, I'm a reporter here at the Signal, and here are our top news stories. Starting fresh in spring 2021, Carrie Young started off the semester writing about setting goals for spring 2021. Next up, we have Academic Senate continues discussions on students' eventual return to campus. Carrie Young and Matthew Bonzi have this story from the meeting February 9th. President Jun previews the future of fall 2021 in Q&A session by Lindsay Ook. She covered the Q&A session on February 10th. Tips to create the best resume possible by Guadalupe Aleman, who went to a workshop with career coach Nang Tao on February 16th. A lot of great tips for your resume there. Next up, discussions continue regarding updated education requirements and fall 2021 semester at the latest Academic Senate meeting. This was covered by Maya Radcliffe and Xochitl Esparza. They went to the February 23rd Academic Senate meeting. The hot topics for this meeting were returning to campus, general education requirements such as ethnic studies, and how to prepare students since the removal of the writing proficiency screening test. After that, we had Then versus Now, a year of online learning. Samantha Tonarelli covered a year in review, looking at a year of virtual education during the pandemic. Lots of perspectives, including Director of Academic Technology. After that, we had new students share thoughts on their online education experience. Here we have Lindsay was talking to first-year students about their experiences with the new virtual learning environment. We all know about that. Then we have the Academic Senate meeting covers Fall 2021, Blackboard, Ethnic Studies, and more. This one comes from Andreas Guzman and Taylor Hayden, the March 9th Academic Senate meeting. After that, we had TikTok, YouTube, and Teaching by Angela Gonzalez. This is a good one because it focuses on how teaching has evolved due to virtual education. Carrie Young reported on what you need to know about applying for graduation. Next up, Academic Senate addresses issues of ongoing Asian hate, student mental health, and more. This one from Michelle and Lindsay, and we were looking at the March 23rd Academic Senate meeting. After that, President Jun launches weekly Friday Fall Planning Forum. Matthew Bonzi reported on the open forum held by President Ellen Jun on April 1st. This will be continuing weekly. Then we have asynchronous versus synchronous, how professors and students manage their time. Lindsay and Nicole talked to students and professors about their feelings regarding synchronous and asynchronous classes. Then we have Stan State announces in-person graduation ceremonies. Anthony Perkins reported an April 9th announcement that Stan State would hold in-person commencement ceremonies. After that, Project Rebound continues to build bridges for formerly incarcerated students. Christopher took a look at the project and talked to students about their goals and how it helps them meet their needs and legal requirements. Fall 2021 class registration delayed until conclusion of spring 2021 semester. Another one from Chris. ASI Board of Directors discuss library opening. Diana talks about the library reopening for fall 2021, what it'll look like, and what rules and regulations will be in place due to COVID. Next up, searching for jobs and internships during the pandemic. Nicole looks at how students can enhance their job or internship search during the pandemic. After that, the 4th Annual Ethnic Studies Conference, Alliance and Decolonization. Yaslin covered the Ethnic Studies Conference here at Stanislaus State. Prepare for your future with Stan State's Career and Professional Development Center. Another one from Carrie talks about the support that's available to students through the Career and Professional Development Center. After that, we had another academic senate meeting, discussions of camera policies, ethnic study requirements, and fabrication labs. This one comes from Guadalupe and Izzy. Students have a lot to keep up with regarding their degrees, not least of which is changing style guides. Matthew has a story on changing style guides and the importance of citations both in school and in everyday life. Citations to graduation and beyond. After that, we had Stan State students participate in the 70th annual Model UN Conference. Jessica Silva, who talked to students about the opportunity there. ASI discusses CSSA updates and campus communication. Essence reported on Student Government Meeting April 27th, which covered the Cal State Student Association and communications efficiency, as well as university police budget. After that, variety of topics discussed at last academic senate meeting of the semester. This was covered by Angela and Yaslin. This was the May 4th academic senate meeting, again covering ethnic studies, webcam usage policy, and the need for a psychological counselor. Then we had fall repopulation plan, 6 major takeaways students and faculty should know. Matthew covered this one. Creating an equitable future for all. Ethnic studies of AB 1460. This one was covered by Yaslin and covers a push for ethnic studies requirement and what it means for equality. Next up, unconventional methods to get past finals. Final seasons can be a trying time for students, but Izzy has some tips for preparing for and getting through finals. Then we had in-person versus virtual student views on final exams. Nicole talked to students about the pros and cons of online final exams. Finally, First Generation Warriors advice to incoming freshmen. Lindsay and Jocelyn talked to first generation students to get advice for incoming students. If you know an incoming student, be sure to share that article with them. Whew, that was a lot of stories for academic news. Continuing on, we have news pertaining to campus life. Unpacking Stan State's 2020 Cleary Crime Report. This comes from Chris and takes a look and breaks down the numbers from the Cleary Crime Report for 2020. This report covers on-campus crimes. Then we had Stan State experiences on campus, network outage. This one I wrote, talking about the campus network outage that occurred February 12th due to a hardware failure. This is interesting because it covers how a disaster recovery system was created and we moved to cloud services that mitigated a lot of the harm that could have been caused by this outage. Next up, student perspectives on cancel culture. This one comes from Anthony. He talked to students to get their opinions on the long-term consequences of cancel culture. Continuing on, Stan State leaders discover the secrets of motivation and delegating authority. This one comes from Jocelyn, as she covered the March 10th leadership training event, and it provides tips for leadership and motivation. After that, we had Warrior Hub tips and tricks discussed at RSO meeting. This comes from Diana. It's the Recognized Student Organization President's meeting. After that, we had Zoom bombing of the Black Power Still Matters event. This one comes from Samantha, who took a look at the Zoom bombing that occurred during the Black Power Matters event on February 26th. If you don't know, this is a type of cyber harassment that occurs in online Zoom meetings. After that, we had campus organizations help students forecast life after college. This comes from Andreas. He looked at an event put on by Undocumented Student Services and the Male Success Initiative, which was aimed to discuss life after college. An inside look at Stan State's second virtual career fair. This one comes from Michelle. Then we had Gardening Made Simple by the Stan State Gardening Specialist. This one was brought to you by Andreas as well, and he talked to Martin Hildebrandt, who provides tips for growing plants And then we had what to expect from the new Vash library and its soft opening. This comes from Michael, and it covered a Zoom meeting on April 20th that talked about plans for opening the newly renovated library. Then we had Stan State, a visual reminder. We've certainly been gone from campus for a year now, so Anthony wanted to make sure that everybody remembered what campus looks like. So head on over and take a look at these great pictures of campus. Provost Greer, Stan State's collaborative leader, heads to East Bay. This one comes from Maya, and it talks about Provost Greer and her work here at Stan State as she prepares to leave for her new position. Then we had Penumbra hosts Zoom charity theater event for Food Pantry. This comes from Essence and covers a charity event held by the Stan State Literature and Art Journal, Penumbra, on April 30th and supported the Warrior Food Pantry. Then we had Brought Back to Life and newly discovered hobbies during the lockdown. If you're looking to get into a new hobby, you might enjoy this article from Izzy. The virtual excitement of Stan State's Warrior Day Festival. What's going on with Warrior Day? Well, Anthony had you covered as he took a look at virtual Warrior Day festivities. That was held on May 14th. After that, preparing for the fall 2021 semester and Stan State. Are you still trying to figure out what fall 2021 will look like? Essence has you covered as she breaks down what to expect with the Associate VP of Communications and Public Affairs here at Stan State. All right, moving on to community news. We have classes in connection to social movements. Are you looking to take classes looking at social movements? Then Alex and Jessica have you covered here as they talk about what classes are available and what you can expect to learn in them. Then we have hashtag Justice for Trevor, another life lost to police brutality. This is an important topic, and this one comes from Sandra, covering protests outside the Modesto Police Department after the death of Trevor Seaver. After that, we had Introducing What's the Scoop, and its first guest, Dr. Aletha M. Harvin. If you're wondering what the scoop is, Bobby has you covered here, as this article spotlights Dr. Harvin, who is an associate professor for the Department of Psychology and Child Development. Next up, new Ross location opening near Stan State looks to hire. Are you looking for work? Andreas looks at a new store opening here in Turlock. Then we have a temporary loan of time, Dreamers at Stan State. This one comes from Maya, and it's the experience of undocumented students at Stan State. After that, we have another hashtag Justice for Trevor story. This is a continued fight against police brutality. Sandra has the continuing story of protests against the killing of Trevor Seaver. Next up, we have students share their views on minimum wage. Students have a wide range of opinions on the minimum wage, and Matthew takes a look at some of these opinions. After that, we had Helping in New Ways, volunteering during a pandemic. Are you looking for new ways to help out in your community? Maya has a story of how students can find ways to support those in need. Continuing on, Changing the World One Eco Brick at a Time. Are you concerned about plastic in the environment? Lindsay has a piece about how you can help cut down on plastic waste, as well as new building solutions. Then we have Businesses Reflect on a Pandemic-Stricken Year and Look Ahead to 2021. Michelle takes a look at business in 2020 and looks ahead to what we might see in 2021. Then we have 11th Women's Leadership Forum hosts the Valley's Female Entrepreneurs. Maya takes an inside look at the College of Business Administration's Women's Leadership Forum. This was held March 24th and provided advice and information. Next up, we have a look at the country's polarizing daylight savings time change. Ever wonder why we have daylight savings time and whether we still need it? Michael gets students' perspectives on daylight savings time as well as getting an agricultural perspective on the time change. Next up, we have Possible Wildfire Outcomes Summer 2021. Wildfires are becoming all too common in California. Matthew talks to a student about what that means for her family. He also looks into what the state is doing about the fires. After that, we have controversy looms over popular Sacramento anime convention. This one comes from Michael and myself, and we take a look at the controversy surrounding SAC anime and a vaccination clinic closing. Then we have Stan State student talks trash in new podcast. In this article, I talked to a Stan State student who created a podcast because of the trash he was seeing all over Modesto and all over Stockton's Delta. After that, Stan State students share their favorite outdoor spots. Do you enjoy being in nature? Jocelyn finds out favorite outdoor spots for students. What's your favorite location? Then we have this spring break, take pics. Maya looks for safe outdoor activities and photographs them. Lots of great photographs in this article. Feel free to share some of your favorite photos that you took over spring break. Campus community members discuss the evolution of feminism. Sochi takes a look at how feminism has changed over the years and what it means. Then we had fun scratchers for your cat. Guadalupe wants to spice up your cat's favorite scratchers. Check out all of the fun styles. Alright, another fun one, finding fun at Dutch Hollow Farms. Are you looking for something fun and safe to do? Michelle takes some time to speak to Dutch Hollow Farms, who say they have something exciting going on most of the year. Then we have celebrating Earth Day every day. Taylor has a story about Earth Day and how you can be a good steward of the earth year-round. After that, mixed feelings in the Stan community following the conviction in George Floyd case. Essence, Guadalupe, Angela, Bobby, Izzy, and Jocelyn all take a look at the reaction of the Stan State community following the conviction in George Floyd's murder trial. Then we have local honey, bee populations, and gardening methods to do your part. Allergies can be a nightmare. Matthew talks about the benefits of local honey. Also, it features ways that you can help the honeybee population, which has unfortunately decreased in recent years. Then, the Signal responds to World Press Freedom Day 2021. Maya and Lindsay take a look at the importance of press freedom to students, a local journalist, and the wider community. Then we have This One's for the Moms. Carrie writes an article all about moms for Mother's Day. Then we have Stanislaus County Fair prepares for safety, health, and fun. Are you looking for some fun this summer? Michelle reports that the Stanislaus County Fair will be open and what that will look like. Then we have Unveiling Penumbra 2021. Izzy brings you the announcement that the Stan State Literary and Arts Journal has been released for 2021. After that, Growing Resources with Next Up, Virtual Community Gardens. Nicole takes a look at this virtual event about community gardens, basic needs, and collaboration. From the 209 to Palestine. Sandra reports on a protest against a rental company that provides services to Israel. The article also features a background on the conflict going on in the Middle East. After that, we have student government news. These are the stories that we saw this semester. ASI discusses future plans for fall 2021 semester. Taylor reports on the ASI Board of Directors meeting that took place February 24th and covers return to campus as well as what sports will look like. Then we had another ASI Board of Directors meeting that discussed campus reopening plans, graduation, and undocu ally training. This one comes from Matthew and was on the March 9th ASI meeting. We also had another ASI meeting that covered survey results, Warrior Day Festival, commencement ceremonies, and more. This comes from Samantha for the March 23rd ASI board meeting. After that, Michelle took a look at the ASI election process in exploring the ASI election process. All right. That's that. We now move to wellness news. First up, home is where the heart is. This comes from Carrie and Nicole, and they report on fun Valentine's Day activities of Stan State students. After that, reopening of gyms provides community with renewed physical and mental health benefits. Michelle takes a look at the benefits of going back to the gym as restrictions on gyms were lifted. Then we had Express Yourself Through the Collective Healing Circle. Sochi talks mental health and safe spaces with the Stan State Collective Healing Circle prior to their February 23rd Zoom meeting. Then we had Group X workout classes promote student wellness. Carrie looks into a virtual fitness class opportunity at Stan State called Group X. Stan State employees become eligible for on-campus COVID-19 vaccination clinic. Carrie reported on the March 4th Stan Alert about vaccinations being open to Stan State employees. Then we had the present fear regarding COVID-19 vaccines. Jocelyn does some research into the COVID-19 vaccine, as well as the fears of local community members and students. After that, we had Stan State students share self-improvement tips during the pandemic. This one comes from Jocelyn. After that, tips for managing everyday stressors. It has been a stressful year and we all need some help relieving stress. I know I do. Samantha has some tips from the Health Education and Promotion program that were given during their workshop on March 18th. Then we have ways to have a staycation this spring break. Diana and Nicole gave us some tips from students on having a vacation while staying at home. Next up, basic needs services at Stan State. Essence reported on the Basic Needs program at Stan State and the benefits that students may be eligible to receive. Tips to maintain a good mental health. Andreas spoke to students for some tips on good mental health. A survivor's perspective. Brittany Piper speaks on sexual violence and prevention. Andreas reported on a Stan State Student Leadership and Development Committee event about sexual violence prevention and recovery. This happened on April 15th. Working and school from home, a cause for stress? Samantha did some digging into work and learning from home to find out the effects on students and professors. Healthy eating, fast and simple detox smoothie recipes. Diana looked into detox smoothie recipes from a student and a community member. Then we had supporting victims of sexual violence. Samantha reported on a Stan State workshop surrounding supporting survivors held on April 12th. After that, we had President Jun's Feel Good Friday meeting provides information on Career Ready You. Lindsay covered this meeting on April 30th. This meeting is intended as a way to end the week on a positive note. Next up, we have tips and tricks for transforming tech stress. Nicole covers an online event from April 29th aimed at providing healthy ways to deal with stress from tech. Then we had 7 habits of highly successful people. Here Samantha reported on an event that provides the habits that are needed to be highly effective. Stan State Psychological Counseling offers services to those affected by racial injustice. Andreas reported on Stan State's Psychological Counseling Services holding an event to discuss racial injustice. Then we have Escape the Heat this summer, tips on river floating. If you're like me, summers are always a struggle. Luckily, Matthew has some tips for river floating to escape the heat. We had the growing popularity of skincare fridges. Speaking of keeping cool, Lindsay is looking into skincare fridges. Then we have Ready, Set, Relax. Do you need a break? I know I do. That's just what Carrie is looking forward to as she takes a look at student plans for the summer and relaxation after finals. Coming up, we have arts and entertainment news. First, we have art competition organized to celebrate renovations at the Turlock Public Library. Michael reports on an art competition surrounding the renovation and reopening of the Turlock Public Library. After that, KCSS 91.9 FM highlights Valley Voices. In this article, I take a look at a new program taking off at Stan State's radio station KCSS that features local talent. Sticking with music, how the pandemic meddled with bands. A perfect nightmare. The local music scene understandably saw a downturn during the pandemic. Angela has the story of how the pandemic affected a local metal band. Then we had Stan State's Luca Mitchell takes first place in regional opera competition. Michael has a feature on a student who won Opera Modesto's Christina Townsend Memorial Vocal Competition in the 16 to 19 category. Congratulations! Jessica gave us some music suggestions from students in Warrior Tunes for both February and March. Then we have Artist Talk. David Olivant discusses current exhibition and nature of the creative process. Maya reports. Then we have Sochi reporting another Artist Talk session. Theodora Earthworms explains how challenges affect the creative process. Visiting Artist series with Alexis Nutini, experiences with printmaking. This one's from Nicole. And another Artist Talk, Jose de Vera, connects art with history. Sochi reporting. Sochi also reports Aaron S. Coleman presents Pink and Purple and True and Living. This is another Artist Talk. And then Guadalupe has a report of how Merced tattoo artist is battling discrimination in tattoo spaces. Guadalupe also has a list of 10 films to watch this March. Check out that in our movies section of Arts and Entertainment. Samantha talked to students and a professor to find out the answer to the question, streaming or screening. How do you watch movies? In sports news, there wasn't a lot to report due to the ongoing pandemic, but that didn't keep Chris from reporting on the challenges in the unique challenges faced by Stan State athletics during a year of inactivity. After that, we were treated to some humorous April Fool's Day pranks. This one from Yoslin. Angela pranked us with her politicizing Beyonce course, available fall 2021. In our social justice section, you can also find upcoming talk on social justice encourages campus participation. This one comes from Bobby on an event that took place February 15th. Then we have WCCC invites you to the Social Justice Book Club. Izzy reported on a new book club opportunity available for students this spring. Jocelyn reporting Stan State alumna organizes mural in Sacramento. After that, Social Justice Book Club's March feature, Hermosa by Jessica Salgado. Izzy reported on the March featured book. Then we have two book club options. This one was reported by Guadalupe, and it had to do with two book clubs available for students, Social Justice Book Club and Undocu Book Club. Then we had what Twitter users had to say about the conviction of George Floyd's murderer. This came from Guadalupe, Izzy, and Jocelyn. Initial reactions to the development in the George Floyd case from members of our Warrior community. Essence and Angela reported on reactions of students to the conviction. After that, Yoslin reported on an event by the Warrior Cultural Center and Ethnic Studies Department about being an LGBT plus member and an activist in Latin America and the Caribbean. Finally, third annual Race and Power Film Festival to spark social change. This comes from Jocelyn, who reported on the film festival hosted by the Ethnic Studies program. Then we have our La Letra Enya section, where we saw 4 articles translated to Spanish for those that need or perhaps want to read in Spanish. Whew, that's a lot of articles. Please go check them out at csusignal.com and feel free to provide feedback on social media channels. Facebook.com/CSU Signal, at CSU Signal on Twitter and Instagram.